Seen it on social media of what had happened, so I emailed you on June 15th. Is it pretty standard operating procedure not to respond to questions by email, or what's the best way to get information from you? Because I still hadn't gotten a response until tonight.
My response went to the city manager, who in turn sent it to council.
So if I as a citizen have a question, I need to go to the city manager, or?
That's correct. He sent the response out to council, and that was what was required by me. I was required to answer the city manager. I don't have to answer emails from citizens.
My question is, if the two trucks that are our fire trucks respond to a call, then we're dependent on, if I was to call for an emergency for my daughter, if something happened to her, my wife, whatever, if I was calling to get Gateway there, right now we went from 2 paramedics to 1 paramedic, correct?
It's not true.
My question is, the chief touched on Gateway backing themselves up, and I know you were a supporter of the outsourcing. And I have, as I think many of us do, some elderly neighbors, and in the last 60 days, one of my neighbors has been taken off in an ambulance twice, which is obviously concerning. So my question is, Gateway is supposed to have a backup ambulance within the city limits all the time, whether it's primary or whether we call in backup. And my neighbor has had a heck of a time trying to sunshine request city records, dispatch records, and logs related to the city's records of their performance, not their own self-reported performance. And she got about 6% of what she asked for in the sunshine request, and she showed it to me. And one of the things that I noticed right away, one of the first calls I looked at, was a call from February 15th, where both ambulances were not in service, or were on a call, and the backup ambulance was not in UCity because, according to the records, we had to call an ambulance in from Florissant. And my concern for my elderly neighbor, who was taken off in an ambulance twice in the last 60 days, and obviously my mother, who's getting older, and anybody in this room, is that call took 22 minutes for an ambulance that was coming from Florissant. When was the last time we ever had an ambulance coming from Florissant? And is that acceptable? And what assurance can you as a council member, and you as a council member, and you as the chief give the people in this room and the people of the city that this won't happen? Because this is, I sat through that meeting in August, and the chief was there. We were told this would be an improvement in service. We would be taken care of. They would be able to take care of us. And I haven't gotten but into probably 50 calls that the city has actually provided the data. And in the first 50, I'm finding backup ambulances coming from Florissant. And that's really kind of horrifying.
Well, what I would say is that on any given day, you might have a series of ambulance calls throughout the city that might maybe overwhelms Gateway.
This was number 3.
Let me finish. I'll let you finish. I don't have the data. And you said that I supported the outsourcing. What I really supported was the savings that could happen by using Gateway. We also have said that if this does not work, that we wouldn't have any reservation with pulling it out. But the thing I just have to, the ambulance business is a business where people die in ambulance. There are cases where there's ambulance needed and the system is overwhelmed to attack Gateway or the performance. I don't think it's fair, because those same challenges would have faced our ambulance drivers. Now I think the chief would know better than me or anyone else up here about that case, and I think if he's willing to address that again more, if he's had his time, you know, that's fine.
What we were promised when they outsourced, and you work for outsourcing, don't dance around it, you work for outsourcing.
I have my reason, I state my reasons, you don't understand.
What we were promised was that we were going to get the same kind of service with Gateway, and what our point is, sir, is we are not getting that.
You're not going to get it.